Just a regular day raging at rivals. My teammates suck, my tank can't take up space, my DPS have the aim of a fucking paperclip. Everything is going pretty much great. Oh shit, a Nintendo Direct coming up in a couple of days? I wonder what they'll announce. Probably nothing that I'm really interested in. Nintendo hasn't really been done anything that interesting. Let's just see what the fuck they got going on. Okay, we got Mario Tennis, Metroid. Regular shit. Ditto morphing into a human. Weird, but okay. Man, I really just wish Nintendo would just take like a big risk, like a really gigantic leap. Just something out the fucking blue would be nice every once in a while. Oh shit, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is on the Switch too? I don't have a Switch 2, but that's dope actually. Some of my favorite Nintendo games. I wonder if they'll ever make that into a movie. Okay, time to yell about this. But one very quick thing before we get into that though, I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year is over with, just so that I can feel like I'm actually doing something with my life. So if you'd like to help me reach that goal, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, share with a bird. I don't care, share with somebody. I appreciate it. Now back to the video. Now just a few little biases aside, Super Mario Galaxy is my favorite Super Mario game of all time. And this is a very big and great and scary announcement for me. Because in all honesty, Super Mario Galaxy, outside of Paper Mario, is one of the most unique games that Nintendo has ever released in their history, and I stand by that to this day. And in my humblest of opinion, I'm not a Nintendo super fan by any means, I still think that it's their greatest Super Mario game that they've ever released ever. From the soundtrack to the story, just to the overall scale of Super Mario Galaxy, it's the best one by far to me. And with them announcing that we're just jumping straight from regular Mario to Super Mario Galaxy and not just a Super Mario Bros. 2, I'm kind of scared and excited at the same time. I was kind of expecting, them to just announce a sequel to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And maybe like the big thing about this one is that they introduced Yoshi, because like right before the credits of the last movie, he does the little Yoshi sound in the sewer system. And I was like, okay, well the next movie will be about Yoshi, and maybe we'll learn about, the history of Yoshi or some shit like that, and where he actually comes from and stuff like that. Or maybe we even would have got like a Yoshi's Island story or something like that. But what I did not expect them to do was jump straight into Galaxy. And now I know that they had a whole character from Super Mario Galaxy in Super Mario Bros. Movie, but I did not expect them to jump right into Galaxy, because Galaxy is a big jump from what the scale of Super Mario Bros. Movie was. Super Mario Bros. Movie, in all honesty, was a very small movie and very small plot in comparison to what Super Mario Galaxy is and was. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 upped the scale of what Nintendo could do with a Super Mario Bros. Game, what it can do with Super Mario Bros. Story. Because outside of maybe Paper Mario and Mario Sunshine, every single Super Mario game is kind of the same. Bowser kidnaps Peach from the castle and you gotta go to his castle to get her out. That's basically the same thing that they've been doing for I don't know how many years. And even down to the very little things like the OST of Super Mario Galaxy and just the atmosphere just made this game feel very different from what Nintendo has normally done and what they're used to doing. Because the reason that I'm really passionate about this is because I feel like the Super Mario Galaxy movie has to succeed. Like, not just do a bunch of money at the box office, but this has to be like a really great movie, like all around. And not just, oh, it's Mario in a movie, so it's gonna make a lot of money. Because this movie very well could just be another case of Chris Pratt and Jack Black just cracking jokes for an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, about stars and shit like that. But I would prefer it to be like how really good kid movies are. On the very surface level, it's just a bunch of jokes, but there's a lot of layers to it. Kind of like how movies like WALL-E and Monsters Inc. Kind of like those movies where on the surface and the bare minimum, they're comedies and they're not really something that's to be taken too seriously. But if you really read between the lines and most of the adults in the theater will understand the serious tones of it all. Because I really feel like Nintendo has the opportunity to do something really fucking cool and do something like that to where we get a layered interaction of a movie and not just here's Jack Black joking about stars and shit for 2 hours, which they very well just might do, because that'll be the easiest thing to do, because that's what made them a bunch of money the first time with the fucking Peaches song. Now, I'm not saying that this has to be some, melodrama about, Mario saving Peach and Rosalina, with stars and the galaxy and shit. But moments like that layered throughout the movie to have a the grand overall meaning about, you know, like stars and preservation of stuff that you find precious would be great. Kind of like how they did with the brotherhood between him and Luigi in the first one, like very briefly, where they had them, you know, have the brotherly moment of fighting Bowser together with the star powers and shit like that. Kind of like that. That's kind of what I want, but like layer throughout the movie and have a big crescendo at the end. And not just Jack Black saying, oh, it's a talking star, kill it, as Bowser. Because I feel like the whole vibe of Super Mario Galaxy is more than just the kind of, you know, kiddie friendly humor that like you get from, you know, stuff like Super Mario Brothers like regularly. I feel like the vibe of the game itself was more of a serious tone movie because you're dealing with higher and higher stakes as the game goes on, especially in the first one where Mario realized that like, you know, this is like way more important than him just saving Peach for the umpteenth time. It's gotten to the point to where like if he doesn't succeed, Bowser basically becomes this fucking, you know, like galactic emperor, because once Bowser finds out Mario is in space and that he can just like, you know, gather all this energy and shit, like he can use it for his own, you know, evil plans and all that. And I really do feel like that Nintendo could do something really unique or change with, because if this is going to be a franchise, because all jokes aside, since they've jumped to Super Mario Galaxy, I really do feel like the next one would be Super Mario Odyssey, which is like even more stakes of like, you know, Mario having to do more than just like save the world or just save Peach. It's even like higher stakes than that, because Super Mario Odyssey is also Mario, you know, going to, you know, like at least, you know, different parts of the world and exploring different planes and, you know, like exploring different themes and different stuff outside of just go to Bowser's castle, stomp on his head 3 times and you win the game. And with them taking this massive leap from the first Super Mario Bros. Movie straight to Galaxy, I really hope that they know the implications of just jumping straight to Galaxy and what that does for this universe and franchise. Because if this movie doesn't succeed or doesn't do well outside of just doing a lot of numbers in the box office, it's going to be forgotten very, very quickly. And forgotten quickly in the way that the Borderlands movie was forgotten about. Yeah, that's right. That was real. Because the way that I forgot about the Borderlands movie within like the fucking day that it came out is fucking astounding. And I don't want that to be the case for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, because I feel like it truly, truly can be something great and unique. They just have to execute it. Well. Do I think we'll have this, you know, kind of like, you know, layered movie from Nintendo? No, not really. I don't really expect that from Nintendo. I feel like it'll be kind of the same thing for what they did for the first Super Mario Bros. Movie, but it would be beneficial for the Super Mario Bros. Movie long term to have them say, hey, here's this layered thought out kids movie, and not just, oh, Jack Black said that the star is being depressed and throw it in the fucking brig, or, you know, launch it into fucking orbit or some stupid shit like that. And I don't really think that they'll do this again, because of the fact that like the first Super Mario Bros. Movie was not that long, and to kind of cover Galaxy in like 90 minutes or like 2 hours, I don't really know if that's possible. I don't know if covering Super Mario Galaxy in like 90 minutes will be really possible without like missing over a lot of stuff and a lot of lore and a lot of, you know, themes that goes on within the game itself. I don't know if we'll even have, you know, half of that. I hope we do, but I don't think that Nintendo will really like put all that effort into this. Again, it's just a Mario movie. They're just gonna make it to make a bunch of money, because game wise they're kind of just doing a lot of shit and not really doing anything too impressive, to be honest with you. They're just like, you know, hey, here's Mario again, yeah. And it's kind of just I'm kind of just mad on Nintendo right now, but I have high hopes and I have high dreams for this movie. I just hope that Nintendo, you know, actually delivers and gives us a decent movie, since we're making this big of a leap.